Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and today we're going to take a look at the tiny powerhouse that is the Zotac 1660Ti. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so this is the Zotac 1660Ti from Zotac Gaming. Now this is actually a very cost-effective upgrade for those of you looking to upgrade from maybe older cards like the 1050 or maybe an older Radeon card like an RX 480, something along those lines. So let's go through some of the specs and see what I like about it, what I dislike about it, and why I think it's the right card for you. So first of all, looking at the box, it's a pretty standard affair from Zotac. So we've got 6GB DDR6. You can also use the FireStorm software for a little bit of overclocking and all those kind of good things. We've got the Turing shaders, DirectX 12, Ancel, and all that kind of good stuff. On the back, it says super compact. Now it says actually it fits 99.9% of all systems, which is probably a little bit of overestimation in my opinion, but basically what they're saying is this card should fit most builds. It's VR ready, FireStorm as we said. New generation of Zotac Gaming GeForce graphics cards are here, based on the new NVIDIA Turing architecture. It's packed with more cores and all new GDDR6 ultra-fast memory, integrated with smart and optimized technologies. Get ready to get fast and game strong like never before. So we've got the GeForce experience obviously built into the drivers, so you've got the NVIDIA highlights, so you can automatically record your best gaming moments. You've got NVIDIA's Ancel, so you can turn screenshots into art with 360, HDR and super res photos, and you get obviously game ready drivers. So you get the latest levels of drivers and the best support from the NVIDIA software. So again, that pretty much covers most of the NVIDIA range, if not all of the range, but I just thought I'd mention it anyway. So minimum system requirements, and this is going to be the important bit for some of you. So obviously you're going to need a PCI Express graphics card slot. That is a given, with a dual width, and it needs to be a 16x slot. You could probably use an 8x slot, but they recommend a 16x slot. So this is quite an important thing now, the power requirements for this card. Now it is actually a very energy efficient card. Now it only actually requires 120 watts of power at full whack, which it does through the 8-pin power connector. The recommendation for a power supply is a 450 watt power supply. So even if you've got possibly a pre-built system from the likes of Dell, HP, etc., this is actually could possibly fit straight into your build without any modifications or any extra expense like a new power supply. Obviously, do check your power supply first to make sure the wattage is correct before you go ahead and buy one of these. So other requirements, you need obviously 1.5 gigabytes of available hard disk space for the drivers and all that kind of stuff, but if you've got less than that, then you're in bigger trouble anyway. 8 gigs of system RAM, 16 gig recommended, and it works with Windows 10 64-bit, April 2018 update or later, and Windows 7 64-bit, Linux 64-bit, and it needs a single 8-pin power connection. Okay, so that's enough of the stuff off the box. Let's take a look at the card itself and see what we get. Now I have actually already opened this and used it, and I have actually lost some of the stuff in the box. So this isn't going to be the best unboxing. So normally at this part you would find a little package with the kind of leaflets and all that kind of stuff and information, but I seem to have misplaced that, so that isn't in this box. But to be fair, there isn't a lot else in here. So we've got no extra power connectors, no power adapters, literally just a cardboard box. So quite nice and easy to recycle. So here is the graphics card itself, and it is actually tiny. It is not much bigger than my hand. So that gives you an idea of what this can fit into. So when they go back to say it will fit 99% of systems, they're probably in the right ballpark there. This will fit in a mini ITX build. I've actually tried it with my InWin A1, which you can see the unboxing of up here. Fits in there absolutely perfectly. Again, that box will fit pretty much most cards anyway, but if you've got a smaller ITX chassis or a micro ATX box, which is a little bit on the small side, then this is going to be right up your street. Also, if you're using a case which maybe has slightly different placement of fans, such as things like the Sharkoon case behind me, where you've got the option to put 2 fans on the sidewall, and again, similar with the InWin cases as well, where they have 2 fans on the side, you could have a radiator in there and the fans and not obstruct your graphics card, which is pretty cool. But again, if you're going to that kind of elaborate kind of setup for cooling, maybe this card is at the wrong end of your budget. This actually is a very budget card. So it's aimed at those more likely to be upgrading from a pretty generic system or a lower end system. That being said, you can quite happily pair this with the latest and greatest from both AMD and Intel with no problems whatsoever. So moving around to the outward facing side of the card, we've got the ZOTAC Gaming logo and Geforce GTX logo, and also we've got our 8-pin power supply connector. You can see the exposed heat pipes there. There are 3 6mm pipes which will convect heat from the heat sensitive areas through to the actually quite massive for the size of card fin stack. Heat dissipation isn't going to be a problem on this. We've actually taken it apart, and the actual cooler is pretty substantial and is in fact pretty much the entire size of the card. All of the important components are cooled, so the VRMs, the memory modules, and obviously the GPU itself, which is the Turing based TU116. So the 70mm fan is a static pressure optimized with curved blades, and you've got wider blades on the back for just general airflow and cooling. So cooling isn't going to be a problem. This card actually in use rarely gets over 60 degrees. With an overclock you can get it up to sort of in the 70s, but in a reasonably well ventilated case, cooling isn't going to be an issue. This doesn't generate a great deal of heat at all. So moving around to the I/O side, we've got 3 DisplayPort connectors and a single HDMI port. So this will support resolutions up to 8K on the DisplayPort, slightly lower 4K on the HDMI. So that pretty much goes over most of the card. Now, some of you will have noticed the card already doesn't have a backplate. This is the cost-effective version of the 1660 Ti. This is priced in at a very low price, and actually comparative models of the same range, the 1660 Ti, anything up to the Strix card, which can cost up to £350. This comes in around £260 in the UK at the moment, and essentially there's not a great deal of difference. The Strix cards have got a 3-fan setup and RGB lighting and a backplate. So if size is an issue and you're not particularly bothered about the overall aesthetics of the card and you don't necessarily need a backplate, then this is actually a really good value alternative. These cards actually do overclock pretty well, and using the MSI Afterburner, you can actually get these up to the Strix levels of performance and slightly above. So you could save yourself an awful lot of money just by going by this card and doing some manual overclocking. So general specs of this card, you're looking at 1536 on the CUDA cores, a base clock of 1500 MHz with a boost clock of 1770 MHz. You've got the tensor cores, but no RTX. RTX has been chopped out in the 1660 Ti. But you do have the NV encoder. So if you are perhaps thinking of encoding or streaming, then the NV encoder is definitely something to be looking out for, especially if you're an OBS user. So we've also got a 192-bit bus for the memory, the GDR6, and like we said previously, 120 watt TDP, which is supplied from the single 8-pin slot, which can actually give you up to 150 watts. So if you are considering overclocking this manually, then there's a little bit of room to squeeze some more performance out of it. Now again, going up to 150 watts then does take you into the kind of GTX 1070 range. So maybe if you are considering wanting a higher TDP card, then maybe the 1070 Mini might be the option for you. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up the specs and quick overview of this Zotac 1660 Ti. So my opinion on this card, for me it's fantastic. I do a lot of case swaps and different system swaps, so having a compact card which is still very powerful is very useful. Now if you take into comparison, this is the previous model, or an older model, this is the GTX 1070. Now as you can see, it is a lot bigger. So if you've got a slightly smaller case, then the two cards actually are very close together in performance wise. Despite this card having fewer CUDA cores, this card has 1536 CUDA cores against the 1070, which has a lot more. So if you're looking maybe at video creation or content creation, especially video editing, the 1070 of the two is probably your better option. You've got an extra 2 GB of RAM. This is 8 GB against 6 GB, which can help in rendering and also transition and effects. Obviously the CUDA cores also help as well in certain titles such as Premiere. But if you're looking for a gaming card, this card actually has a higher clock speed against the lower clock speed of the 1070. So if you are looking around the sort of £200 to £250 mark, you can probably pick up a Zotac 1070 Mini actually, which is a very good price at the moment because they're trying to clear stock, because obviously it is the older generation Pascal card against these newer Turing cards. So that possibly is an option. Again, I will put links in the description below so you can check out the current prices of these cards at the moment. Obviously, the prices do fluctuate. We've also got AMD about to be launching something hopefully quite special very soon, so that may have an effect on pricing. So do keep an eye on the pricing before you actually pull the trigger. For me, simplicity, you haven't got to worry about RGB and all that kind of stuff. It's a very small compact card, doesn't get very hot, doesn't need a particularly high wattage power supply. Ticks a lot of boxes in my opinion. So if you are looking at building a smaller system, definitely check out the Zotac 1660Ti. Also again, for gaming, great card, 1080p, no problems at all, 1440p, does really well. If you're looking at higher than that, then really you should be looking slightly higher up the product stack, maybe an RTX 2060, RTX 2070, that kind of range. But there we go, that has been the Zotac Gaming GTX 1660Ti. I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.